Republic located in central Western Europe. The country consists of 16 states, with a temperate climate year-round, suitable for tourism. When mentioning Germany, people often think of a country with a traditional and principled moral lifestyle, a country of discipline and seriousness. However, you might not expect that beyond those things. In this country known as the heart of Europe, there are many unbelievable oddities. For example, people are allowed to be nude in public. Washing cars at home is prohibited. Or the belief that drafts and wind from door cracks are harmful winds that can bring illness to the body. And so on, strange things that even in your dreams you might hardly imagine exist in a developed and civilized country like Germany. So what other oddities are there in Germany? Join Mysterious Move to explore a video about 14 strange and unique things found only in Germany. Let's see how peculiar and different this country is. It might sound superstitious, but I think many of you will really like this. But because YouTube might not like this part, I'll describe it in the video in a way that aligns more with global civility. Please don't throw stones at me, it would be pitiful. In Germany, nudity is not strange but part of traditional culture. Known as FKK, short for Freikörperkultur, meaning free body culture. For Germans, being nude in parks, beaches, saunas, or swimming pools is completely normal. In summer, large parks in Berlin and Munich often see scenes of middle-aged men lying on the grass, wearing only hats and reading newspapers. They are not shy or worried about others' gazes. In fact, this concept originated in the late 19th century and has become an important part of exercise and sunbathing habits to improve health. It was even considered a treatment for diseases like tuberculosis and rheumatism. Nudity culture in Germany continued to develop, even during difficult historical periods. Although strictly controlled under Nazi Germany, this spirit never faded. After the war ended, the restoration of this culture flourished, with the establishment of the Free Body Culture Association in 1949. Currently, Germany has about 600,000 people participating in FKK nude areas, with hundreds of parks and beaches dedicated to this activity. For many newcomers, witnessing public nudity can be surprising. However, this is an expression of personal freedom and cultural respect that Germans have maintained across generations, and although the nudity movement has somewhat declined in recent years, Germans still maintain this habit and consider it an indispensable part of their social life. Oh, talking about this has already made me blush. Imagine standing face to face, both men and women, in such a state, without knowing each other at all. I really can't understand what that feeling would be like, you know. This is also one of the interesting customs of Germans. The origin of this custom is unclear as to when and where it started. But Germans believe that the sounds created by breaking dishes symbolize the conflicts a couple will face in the future, the difficulties they will encounter in married life. The ritual of the bride and groom cleaning up the broken items aims to help them prepare to face difficulties and wish for a happy life. German weddings are not overly elaborate, ornate, or full of many formalities. They favor coziness, so they only invite relatives and their closest friends, without the need to invite everyone. Before the official wedding ceremony takes place, the bride and groom's friends and relatives are invited to a party. Smashing dishes. The rule when attending Polterabend is that each person brings porcelain items like bowls, cups, and plates. However, glass items are not allowed to be brought. The special thing is that these porcelain items are not meant to be given as gifts to the newlyweds, but the guests will smash them to pieces on the ground. Afterward, the bride and groom are the ones who must sweep up the broken pieces. This custom of smashing dishes symbolizes bidding farewell to single life and starting a new life after marriage. Accordingly, the more dishes smashed before the wedding, and the more broken pieces the bride and groom had to clean up, the more their married life is believed to be stable. Broken objects symbolize brokenness. Throwing away the brokenness, only the bond of love remains for married life. It can be said that weddings are a major and sacred event in everyone's life. It represents the bond between two people in love. The traditional Polterabend custom is one of the prominent and unique features in German wedding rituals. carrying deep cultural significance. Although it is just a small part of wedding customs, it is indispensable in a traditional German wedding with its rich cultural heritage. On the other hand, the wedding already has to entertain guests running in and out until exhausted, plus has the added task of cleaning up broken dishes, so the likelihood of having fun is probably not very high. If it were you, would you like such a strange wedding custom? Please comment yes or no below to see if we share the same viewpoint. Saving coins to buy wedding shoes. Here's another unique wedding custom number 2, while no one stands number 1 in Germany. That is saving coins to buy wedding shoes, folks. So why is it unique? Because in Germany, on the wedding day, the wedding dress and the bride's shoes also carry a very special meaning. It is known that from a young age, girls and their parents will together collect coins and save them. These coins will be used to buy shoes for the bride on the most important day of her life. This act carries a very humane meaning, because through it, parents want to teach their daughter the virtue of saving and becoming a wife who brings happiness to the family. On the wedding day, those wedding shoes will be auctioned. People will bid on the bride's shoes, and of course, the last person to buy the shoes will be the winner, and includes the amount that the guest had previously bid, will be the groom. However, those preparing to get married in Germany can rest assured there's no need to worry, because this is just an entertainment activity, and the auction is limited to a small amount of money only. Additionally, on the wedding day, in some regions, relatives also challenge the bride and groom by having them saw a log. The two will coordinate together, pushing and pulling, so that it is very rhythmic and smooth, neither too fast nor too slow. This custom symbolizes a harmonious, happy marriage, knowing how to yield to each other to preserve family happiness. I don't know what you think about this custom, but I find it quite nice and interesting. The German government has issued a regulation banning car wash to protect water sources from pollution due to soap and waste oil from vehicles. This regulation was issued to prevent chemicals and grease from vehicles from flowing out and polluting water sources. This is particularly important because water in Germany is often treated very strictly to ensure quality. When soap and grease from car washing flow into the drainage system, they can harm the aquatic ecosystem and the wastewater treatment process. Therefore, to meet the public's car washing needs, the government and cities have invested in building public car wash stations. These stations are equipped with specialized equipment and efficient wastewater treatment systems, helping to clean cars without negatively impacting the environment. If you are in Germany and want to wash your car, use public car wash stations to protect water sources and comply with local environmental regulations. Beer is a national drink, and people under 18 are also allowed to drink it. It sounds unbelievable, but in fact, German customs and traditions are closely tied to glasses of beer. They consider beer an indispensable drink during main meals. And of course, beer is also a much cheaper drink compared to other beverages. Especially, Germans also have a famous beer festival that takes place from mid-September to October every year, called Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is an occasion for people to meet and participate in lively activities. Another interesting thing is that while many other countries in the world set the legal drinking age for alcoholic beverages at 18 or older, in Germany, children are allowed to drink beer like adults. However, the beer here is beer for children, not the type of beer we usually drink. Instead, breweries have produced sweet beer, milk-like beer, so as not to affect children's health. So don't worry about it. Wind blowing in from the window is considered toxic. In Germany, every house has windows. However, they are only decorative or symbolic and are never opened. Do you know why? The locals believe that if windows are open, the incoming wind carries dangerous toxins, which could turn them into frogs. Therefore, many newcomers often find the rooms very stuffy. However, instead of opening windows for air circulation, Germans usually choose other ways to breathe fresh air, such as going out for a walk or relaxing in the park. If you like spending the whole Sunday socializing, having fun, and joining lively festivals, Germany is not an ideal destination. Germans prefer to spend the whole day in silence. They believe that Sunday is a day for family. Since you've worked hard all week, This is a long-standing custom also applied to major holidays in Germany. On weekends, they take time to rest, clean the house, or do things they enjoy, as long as it doesn't create noise. Of course, all shopping and entertainment activities are postponed until the next week. This means you can't shop or dine out, because most stores and shopping centers are closed. Only some supermarket counters at the city's major train stations are open to serve people. If you deliberately make loud noises, neighbors have the right to complain to the police, and the fine you might face is around 20 euros. Showing the thumb represents the number 1. Unlike other countries, where showing the thumb expresses agreement or praises someone for doing a great job. But in Germany, showing the thumb symbolizes the number 1. If you're at a restaurant, cafe, or shopping, and you want a single ordering just one drink or one serving of food, you need to show your thumb instead of your index finger. And if you want to order 2 servings, instead of using the index and middle finger, you'll have to use the thumb and index finger. This isn't too special, but for many people, that's also quite strange and new. ISN. Wishing an early happy birthday is considered bad luck. In the culture of many countries around the world, whether you wish someone an early or late birthday isn't a big deal, since, after all, it's just a well wish. But in Germany, that's not the case, folks. Germans believe that wishing early, even by just a minute, is unlucky, and they will get angry about it. At every birthday party, people usually gather to drink beer and wine, and traditional cakes and special dishes are a must. When the clock strikes 12 and the bell rings, that's when everyone can send their wishes to the host of the party. The best wishes, somehow they hold such a belief. Well, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Therefore, if you are in Germany or plan to go to Germany, keep this in mind carefully, to avoid receiving unfriendly glances from them. Huh, what's this about? Do women lose their right to speak after getting married? Surely many of you think so, right? But in reality, that's not the case, folks. German culture is incredibly diverse and rich, especially marriage culture. Many customs have long become their traditions, but there are also many customs imported from other countries. For German women, immediately after registering they usually officially take their husband's surname and are addressed by his name. Although nowadays, Germany has enacted laws regarding family surname, and the wife has the right to keep her own surname or use a hyphenated surname. However, most German couples still follow this tradition. The bride having to take her husband's surname after marriage sounds a bit strict, but actually, it's similar to is calling someone's wife Mrs. So-and-so, based on the husband's surname. Additionally, in some regions of Germany, when the newlyweds just step out of the marriage registration, they will have rice thrown at them by family and friends. This symbolizes wishing the young couple a happy marriage with many children and grandchildren. The bachelor party, also known as Junggesellenabschied, is an indispensable ritual in everyone's life. About 2 to 3 weeks before the wedding, the bride and groom usually, along with close friends, organize a party and call it the last bachelor party. The party is often organized by their close friends as a surprise without prior notice. The bride and groom will eat, drink, and have fun with friends, while still nominally single. This day was when the bride would call all the men in the family to evaluate the future groom. Everyone would check if that young man had enough character and responsibility to be their daughter's husband. The groom would have to listen to teachings and questions about marriage and family as a final challenge before being accepted by the bride's family. However, later on, this celebration gradually changed. It became more lighthearted and fun, no longer tense and boring. The bride's side would video games to tease the groom, and to this day, it has become a joyful party filled with laughter. Everyone sings, dances, goes out on the streets and everywhere, inviting passers-by to join, as if announcing the good news to the whole world. Must be really happy, right? The whole world knows you're getting married. Publicly building sandcastles on a beach is accepted by the authorities. When coming to Germany, a country famous for strict management and order, you might be surprised to learn that building sandcastles on the beach is allowed. Here, it's not entirely free. although some beaches still allow you to build sandcastles. This must comply with regulations on size and shape. Through rules typically clearly posted at beach entrances, guiding you on the necessary standards to protect the landscape and ensure overall harmony. These regulations not only help maintain the natural beauty of the beach, but also prevent the creation of overly large structures that could obstruct other activities or impact the environment. Similarly, fishing in Germany is also strictly regulated. To participate in this activity, you must complete a fishing course and obtain a legal permit. In this course, participants are trained on regulations and laws related to fishing, including the protection of fish species and conservation of water resources. They learn how to fish properly to avoid harming the ecosystem, as well as how to behave appropriately in public fishing areas. You might find these regulations somewhat unreasonable, but for Germans, they reflect respect for the environment, while also showing an emphasis on maintaining order and balance in recreational activities. They also contribute to protecting the country's valuable assets and resources. That's why we see Germany as splendid as today, not makeshift like some other countries, right? Sausage is the national soul of the people. One of the things Germany is proud of in terms of cuisine is sausage. Most famously currywurst, seasoned with curry. And many other sausages worth mentioning, such as Presswurst, Blutwurst, Nürnberger, Bloodwurst. Just like German bread, German sausage is like a symbol of different cities, along with the meticulous and diverse preparation methods from the local people. It characterizes the land, the people, the culture, as well as the thousand-year history of that land. Even in many regions of Germany, there are sausage recipes that are strictly protected and not allowed to be disclosed. So one could say sausage is indeed the national soul of the German people. 7 Capital changes. The history of Germany's capital is a rich story, as the country has changed its capital 7 times. It is known that during the Carolingian period, Aachen was chosen as the capital of the empire, being the power center of Charlemagne and the Carolingian dynasty. However, later, Germany's capital changed through many other important cities. Regensburg as the political center of the Holy Roman Empire, then replaced by Frankfurt, where many important events for Germany's history took place. Nuremberg was chosen as the capital for a short time before Berlin. The capital of the Kingdom of Prussia became an important political center from the 19th century. The biggest change in capital history occurred in 1949, when Germany was divided into 2 parts, East Germany and West Germany, when Berlin was divided by the Berlin Wall, becoming the capital of the German Democratic Republic, East Germany. Bonn was chosen as the capital of the Federal Republic of Germany. Bonn, although not the largest or most famous city in West Germany, played an important role in maintaining the country's political stability during the Cold War. Finally, after the reunification of Germany in 1990, Berlin was officially recognized as the capital of unified Germany and has retained this position to this day. I'm sure this is an interesting piece of information about Germany. There are over 3,000 types of bread. Initially, I thought our Vietnam was the country with the most bread. But upon learning, it turns out Germany is actually the bread capital with over 3,000 different types. In fact, it was even recognized by UNESCO as a cultural heritage in 2015. Folks, each region of Germany has its characteristic types of bread, from heavy-seeded dark bread like pumpernickel to light white bread like Roggen, and so on and so forth. Sometimes even if you talk until night, you might not finish telling it. The common point is that most German breads are made from natural ingredients, such as rye flour, wheat flour, and various grains, and are often fermented longer to achieve their distinctive flavor and texture. Other popular types of bread in Germany include potato bread, brown bread, and bread with special spices. This diversity not only reflects the long-standing baking tradition of the Germans, but also demonstrates the emphasis on food quality in this country's culinary culture. Dear friends, although Germans may seem a bit different, it's simply because their culture is different. And doesn't mean they're bad people. Their principled living and unique cultural traits are actually very admirable qualities. So, don't hesitate or be afraid to make friends with Germans, because once you become close, they will be incredibly sincere friends. As Germans always prioritize family and friends. Now, what do you think about this country? What impresses you the most here? Please comment below to share your thoughts. Forget to like Mysterious Universe and subscribe to the Enigmatic Echoes channel so you don't. For now, goodbye and see you again. Subscribe to the Gi and Migo channel so you don't miss captivating videos.